Welcome to another midweek update. I'm here with Lance Ippolito. Lance, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Let's get straight to the chase here. People want to know, how's Lance Ippolito making money today?
Transport.
The trend.
You can look at the ETF, the IYT, for an overall sector view, which is up about $1.30 today. But what I'm more interested in is the airliners and the cruise liners. As we saw this morning with Abbott Labs coming out with a 5-minute coronavirus test, that's really got a lift to the airliners and cruise line stocks today.
The COVID stocks have been largely sort of decimated in the last little while as the perception grows that a cure is in the offing, a vaccine is in the wind. The thousands and thousands and increased infections are actually quite meaningless because nobody's dying. So COVID is not necessarily a factor anymore in the stock market, except as it exists as a subsector of biopharmaceuticals. So are you saying that COVID stocks are still buying for options short trading aspect?
In terms of if you look at the COVID biotech names, I've noticed you're really starting to see them not really react anymore. Names like, for example, OPK, Dr. Frost, the CEO down here in South Florida, that name's getting liquidated today, down about 20%, because they were doing that COVID testing. And then ticker symbol OSUR down 25%, another testing stock. So I just noticed, I'm sure you have too, a couple months ago, any name can say they're doing COVID testing or it's a COVID play. And now when these names come out with news headlines on COVID, the market's really not buying them anymore like they were. So it's definitely definitely odd to see, but we're starting to see a little bit of weakness in those smaller cap bio names there, and the rotation from growth stock into value, names that got beat up, like we said, with the transportations short squeezing today. I just think, any signs of life of COVID, decreasing or number of cases going down, or really, easing restrictions, like the movie theaters are opening up today, or nearly 300 AMC theaters open today and another 170 reopen tomorrow. People just want to hear anything positive and get that confidence back, so people will go on flights, go on cruises and such like that. And they've been beat down, those stocks, pretty heavy too.
Yeah. Well, there's it's interesting. It's August. It's hot and dry everywhere in the Northern Hemisphere. It's normally the time when there are the least number of flu cases and colds around anyways. So right. It's interesting to me that the sort of shackles of the coronavirus, deprivation of freedom have been thrown off rather gleefully in this last month of the summer, just ahead of flu season. And, we've got these different variations on the virus. But at the end of the day, it seems to me more that people have assimilated the idea that, well, up to 3% of the population is going to get wiped out here. And is that such a bad thing? I'm sure that the more cynical in the crowd are thinking. And it's like, well, there is certainly an element of who cares about coronavirus? Let's buy stocks and make money. And what could be more emblematic of that cynicism of just accepting that 3% of the population is going to be pushing up daisies before this thing is over? It's like, that's just the way it is. And in the market, it's a dog eat dog world. It's kill or be killed. So what do? Get up out of the dust, shake off your lethargy and get a glove and get in the game.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned the weather issue, and I'm almost to the camp of, let's say winter comes again and COVID cases start popping up, right, near winter time. To be honest, I think the market's going to just shrug it off and keep chugging. The market's always forward looking, and we see it. It just doesn't give a crap anymore. It's almost like it's a short-term news headline that, okay, like we had our sell-off and that's it, and it lasted a couple months and move on. The only thing that is still taking a hit is your names like financials that haven't really bounced back yet, and of course cruise liners and airliners. But market, it doesn't care. Financials haven't rallied in quite some time, and the market was still printing new highs. If you look at technology and the way that it has, all we need is technology, and here we are. Dow's green for the year, Nasdaq, S&P's highs. It's not the old market where, oh, these financials and energies really need to get going to have the next leg up. No, as long as Apple and your tech stocks hold up, we can continue this top and keep chugging along, corona or no coronavirus.
Right. Well, and so that's it. Who cares about COVID-19 is apparently the market's.
Yeah, I mean, and the Fed came out, and they'll do whatever it takes. That's actually a quote. 5 years of interest rates, low interest rates, they're basically saying, go up to the batter's box and swing at every stock you can find, because where else is money going to go? As sad as that sounds, who's going to rush to buy bonds, with interest rates, or who's going to put their money in bonds with interest rates so low? And, we see it in the housing market, and the housing market and the option flow of PHM, Lennar, and these other DHI home builders, they've gone straight up. And the housing market with interest rates so low, it's almost, you could call it a bubble. But when people can get financing at such record low interest rates, well, they're gonna keep buying houses and get leverage out the Wall Street.
Mm-hmm. So is there any sector that is a definitive, unequivocal, can't argue with it, it's just a pariah and there's no reason to buy it? Are there any sectors like that in this fantasy world we live in?
I guess if I had to pick some sector, it would be, let's say the market keeps chugging along higher. If there's one sector, I would probably say stays flat or doesn't rally, probably energy. And the reason why I say that is, what growth do these energy names have? I look at names like Conoco, Exxon, Chevron, Marathon Petroleum even. I just think about it, and what's going to be the positive catalyst? Yes, they pay good dividends, but we've seen dividends get cut in some of those names. And then I look at the rotation into solar, names like Canadian Solar, First Solar, SunPower, Run, and the solar names have been hot, and it looks like money's coming out of good old energy and into solar. We want that new wave of energy. So yeah, probably energy. And I know to the old timers, they're gonna probably hate on it because the dividends, but I mean, what good is a stock that's paying you a 10% dividend and it just keeps going down,
Yeah.
that's my negative Nancy on the stock market is probably
Well,
energy.
I mean, and I had to drag that out of you. So it's like, it's not like we could be categorized as negative on the market by any way, shape, any
I
stretch.
know. I would love a downtick in the market. I would love a dip, a prolonged dip, not just a day or two. I would love to see the market sell off for the next 3 months and have all the longs who bought it with their eyes closed get their butts kicked. I'd love to see everyone get shaken out and reset. But damn, a lot of people have thought the market was going to go down, and it just hasn't, and it hasn't, and it hasn't.
You bet. So it's just keep on keeping on then. All right, Lance, we're going to leave it there for now. That's our time is up, and I will come back to you next week. Thanks very much for joining me today.
Thank you, James.